small businesses haven't always had websites. So uh, you're right with the niching thing. So even for our clients, so I'm working on a client right now who does a lot of solar installations, and he was just expressing his frustration with the residential solar, because he does lots of commercial, but he's been doing both. And over the course of time, he's decided, well, let's just not market to the residential solar, because we're better suited to the commercial. They're far bigger jobs. They're more profitable. They're happier. For various reasons, he's able to serve them to a greater capacity. So they're happy clients. He's a happy business. It's a win-win for everybody to really to drop what's causing pain for your business, and focus on what the best clients look like. So sometimes we find that by finding what we don't like, it seems to be that you can quickly discover what you don't like and remove that, as opposed to the opposite way around, trying to think about what you do like, maybe.
Welcome to the Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help manufacturing executives command the front and win the floor. I'm Richard Walsh, creator of the Sharpened Impact methodology, and I've spent decades helping leaders transform frontline teams, unlock hidden profit, and capture capacity they didn't even know they had. If you want to see where your leadership gaps are costing you and how to fix them, head over to grittolead.com and run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator today. Let's sharpen your edge and get started. And we are back on STS, Sharpen the Spear podcast, with another incredible guest. I've got Wes Towers with us today. And Wes, no one knows Wes better than Wes. So Wes, we need the backstory. Bring us up to speed and we'll get into the conversation.
Thank you, Richard, and appreciate being here today. Thanks for making time. But yeah, I'm Wes from Uplift 360 here in Australia, in Melbourne, or just outside of Melbourne, in a place called Geelong. And yeah, so we make websites for tradie. We call them tradies. Trades, home service businesses, construction businesses, all that kind of stuff. So been doing it a while now, really niched into our specific area over the course of the years, and it's been a great journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, we don't call them tradies up here. I don't know how they'd be received, Wes. Hey, tradie. I don't know. It sounds cool
Yeah.
with your accent. It sounds all right, but up here, we're always trade service.
Trades. Yeah, we're a little bit loose here in Australia, so
yeah, that's
you
okay.
probably covered that.
That's right. That's right. It's totally okay though. But I love that you're in this niche. So let's talk about that real quick. Kind of like, because I know you have a
Yeah.
bit of a journey there, really finding this niche, because I've noticed, just like you probably did too, that it's an underserved market as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. So it came around a little bit by accident in a way. So starting out in business, realistically a freelance business 20 years ago. And so at that point in time, I did anything for everybody. And as you do, you just take on any work you can get, because you kind of need to. But over the years, so I was a trained graphic designer. So I did graphic design, multimedia. And it was working in marketing companies before going out in my own business. So I was doing the traditional graphic design, so brochures and flyers and everything else, branding, logos. So and the website. So I realized my best work was all website work. So decided to niche in terms of the services, and really focus on the website design and the search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff. But that was one step. But even to take it further and to realize, hey, all our clients kind of look the same, sound the same, in similar industries. Why don't everyone says niche? Why don't we zero in on those trades? So did that, and it was kind of funny. It felt like a difficult decision, because you kind of feel like you're cutting off so many opportunities, but it just makes you more focused and better at the clients you do serve. So you can serve them at a higher level, because you really get to understand what's important to them, and what works in one. So maybe we're working on a Sparky, we call them Sparkies, electricians website, and you can translate some of the learnings into a plumber's website, for example, because they're kind of similar processes. So But you're right. The it feels as though to me some of those businesses are not really well served. So that's been an advantage for me realistically, that we're doing it really well and just relate really well to those people. I'm a sort of a relational person, and most of those business people are too. So it works really well from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's great. I think, and we call our electricians Sparkies here too. So we do have
You
that.
do?
Yes, we do. It's kind of the fun name, we call them Sparkies. But yeah, um,
Yeah.
I think like you said, when you niche down, this is something we hit on this topic every now and then, especially on this podcast, but it's really critical that people understand that the importance of niching that. And you're the same as everyone else, doing everything to make money, get your foot in the door, get some traction. But the sooner you can define your niche, and you know how I started, Wes, is I go, tell me about your favorite clients. Who were they? What do they do? Like, what was like working with them? Tell me all that, and then they'll tell me the great story. And when I go, what if you only work with those people? Well, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Right. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can. Yes, you can. And what you said about you become an expert, you understand it in detail. Which what does that do? Not only do you bring a higher, better product, but your turnaround time picks up. Right
Mm.
now, you're serving more a little bit quicker, which is good for your margins, right?
Yeah.
Because you kind of know what you do. I'm not saying you template everything, but yeah. Oh, plumber, let me show you what I got. Okay, you kind of know the directions and stuff. So it's really good. How long did it take you to really figure out the niche? Was it the first year, 2 years, 5 years? What did it look like?
No, so we've been running the business 20 years, and it probably took me half of that time realistically to start drilling in. So 10 years in. Slow
Well,
learner maybe I am.
well, yeah, but you know what? It's so 20. You're talking 2005, right? So I'll give you a story I've shared once or twice. I had a website built for my business in about 2005, and I dropped $41,000 to have an e-commerce website made for my steel sculpture and stuff, right? And
Yep.
that was even then, it's a lot of money. It was like stupid
Mm.
money. I call it stupid money. It was stupid money for that. Because here's the reality, what I always like to share. Speaking of stupid, like I realized when it got done, like a week after I got finished, I'm looking at it going, well, I don't make two of anything. I don't want to make two of anything. What am I doing with
Uh.
this? I'm not going to make another bench like that. And we're selling these things that like, I'm like, shut this thing down. So I just shut the
Yeah.
whole site down a week later,
Wow.
flushed
Wow.
41,000 in the toilet. Okay. Yeah. That's about what my wife said. Wow. No, she didn't say. She was a little harsher than that. Okay. But I'm like, I just didn't, but back then, 2005, and it was still new,
Uh.
right? Website. And so I can see why you delay just finding the niche because you're
Yeah.
serving people. You're pretty much, you're not figuring it out, but like you probably have a kind of an influx of people who need stuff done,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, I started in the industry in the year 2000 in a marketing company, and they'd never designed a website. So I got my first job there, was there a few months, and they won a project to design a website. And they said, right, you're the young guy, you better figure out how to build this site. So, it feels like I was there since the internet was born, but not really. But small businesses haven't always had websites. So uh, you're right with the niching thing. So even for our clients, so I'm working on a client right now who does a lot of solar installations, and he was just expressing his frustration with the residential solar because he does lots of commercial, but he's been doing both, and over the course of time, he's decided, well, let's just not market to the residential solar because we're better suited to the commercial. They're far bigger jobs. They're more profitable. They're happier. For various reasons, he's able to serve them to a greater capacity. So they're happy clients. He's a happy business. It's a win-win for everybody to really to drop what's causing pain for your business and focus on what the best clients look like. So sometimes we find that by finding what we don't like, it seems to be that you can quickly discover what you don't like and remove that as opposed to the opposite way around, trying to think about what you do like, maybe.
Right. It's a process of elimination. Right. So you just
Yeah,
start, I want to work with, I don't want to work with those people. I did it with just with the dollar amount. I said, we
yeah,
started 10,000 for the
yeah,
littlest thing. The littlest water feature is 10. I don't care if it's 4x4, it's 10,000 if you want me to do it. Otherwise, we're not
yeah,
talking. And that really was helpful. It wasn't because it's
yeah,
like you have to choose and you got to say, where do you say no? That's kind of a
yeah,
thing too, you know?
yeah, 100%. I think you're right. I mean, it depends on the business, but oftentimes the cheapest work causes you the
Oh,
most heartache.
yeah.
People
It's,
with no budgets and so on, and they're sort of trying to squeeze out every piece of value out of your service offering and customize and all that kind of stuff. So it's really about finding the sweet spot for an individual and a business.
yeah, I think Wes, you talk about those people that got the tight budget squeeze. Here's the thing that I try to remind my contractors too. Tell them there's someone for them. It's just not
Yeah,
you. There's a
yeah,
guy got a truck and a ladder and he can do it. And he's happy to make a little more than he would if he was working for someone. Let
yeah,
that guy deal with those people. Okay. There's a just
yeah,
like cutting your grass. There's a guy with a push lawnmower in the back of his pickup, beat up pickup. He'll come and do your lawn for $30 a
yeah,
week. Everybody else wants 65. Okay.
yeah.
Because they have trailers and get good equipment and people and everything else, So like, but there's a market for everybody. But just
Yeah, 100%.
understand who you're serving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Understanding your exact customer, and so you can provide a higher level of customer service, can't you? If you're not chasing your tail for the ones that aren't really suited, then you can focus on the ones that are and provide a greater level of value and service and all these things that really matter in business these days provide a exceptional service so they refer all their friends um, and give great reviews and everything else online.
well,
It's really powerful.
it increases your probability of success.
Yeah,
Okay, because you can do less work, make the same or more money. And this is what I always teach my people, my contractors like, listen, you can do a third of the work and make the same money if you do it
yeah,
right, if you understand who you're
yeah,
serving. Okay, that's really good. Because those
yeah,
people on your traditional route, those people, when things get tight, economy starts to constrict, they're
yeah,
going to struggle because they have to
yeah,
have a certain amount of volume because of their pricing strategy. And when that volume
yeah,
starts to go away, they go under.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they
So true.
really hurt. So again, I know it's not for everybody, but I want my clients as recession proof as possible.
Yeah, so true.
I want them to be last affected and first to recover.
Yeah,
That's my philosophy. So who are those people?
yeah,
Okay, because that way it
yeah,
pretty much ensures I'm not going to go under. Okay, because
yeah,
I'm serving them, and you're right. So it's interesting. So from what you do from the design standpoint, so we'll talk a little bit about the websites and stuff like that. Like, let's
yeah,
kind of get in a little bit on direction when you're talking to a contractor, and we'll kind of stay in that vein. And that's your specialty. Like, where does it begin? Like,
well,
here I roll
yeah.
up. I'm a contractor. You're like, well, whatever. Who are you serving? How do you begin your? Is it start with Avatar? Well, how does it begin?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So we start with the whatever makes them uniquely them and distinct in the marketplace because in this day and age with AI being able to mass produce
Mm.
content at scale and there's just so much noise out there. So you've really got to focus in on what sets you apart, what makes you unique, what is different to the next. If you're an electrician, why are you different to the next electrician? And sometimes that's born out of the frustrations of the industry, or I've got one guy who was commenting that he's just exceptional at being leaving a clean and tidy environment when he leaves the premises. He spends the extra time, attention to detail, that sort of thing, because that's of high value to him. So I think being values based in your businesses these days is more important than ever before to be authentically. value driven, because anyone can come up with, catchphrases and say all the right things, but when it's authentically true and it matches the service, it's a powerful thing. So we've got to get a grasp of that message, that core message, and their voice. The way in which they communicate needs to be consistent with how they actually talk on the phone and interact with people. So getting the core message of what sets them apart and how they communicate, so we can get the content working really well. We've done search engine optimization for many years now. We're calling it search everywhere optimization
Yeah.
now, because people aren't just jumping on Google, they're jumping on their preferred AI platform. They're having conversations. These are conversational platforms. So we're helping clients with the messaging and the content. And so it isn't just generic, because if you use the AI tools and leave it to the generic, it just comes out bland and
Right.
you're the same as everybody else. And there's no reason particularly to work with you. But to have the right prompts. We use AI to accelerate some of the processes, but to have the foundations of their voice and their message, that leads to the website design as well. So to design in a congruent way with what their core message is, because realistically, the message is the priority as opposed to the design. So we don't want to. We want the design to be understated, clear, and let the message sing. So there's a number of ways of doing that. The user experience, the design principles. People learn how to interact with the website. So you want everything in the right places for a conversion standpoint, and clean and consistent design styles that work on all devices, like mobile devices, as well. Because realistically, most people are probably looking through their cell phone, their mobile phone, we call
Right.
them, as well. So the simple designs are often the best in that way.
Yeah, I was reviewing one today. One of my contractors has just done an amazing website. Just kill.
Yeah,
We've been
nice.
working on it for months, but now the mesh, the simplicity, the beauty of it, and the movement, it's spectacular. High end custom home builder. And I'd have
Yeah,
to review it today. I'm like, this is amazing. Like this is, because
yeah,
there's a lot out there. Because we went in talking about what you were kind of talking about in the beginning. So he wanted to redo it. They've been in business 40 years, custom homes, all this kind of stuff, but it got this kind of new
yeah.
thing and they're doing. And I said, well, let's take a look at other websites down in your area.
Hmm.
High-end custom home people. There's number of them, right? Pull each one
Mm,
up. I go, oh, look, okay, there's them. They're talking about they build these houses and there's a picture of a nice house. There's no one. Oh, look, a drone video. Okay, that's different. I'm air
mm,
quoting different, right? So we're going through. I'm like, do you notice the theme here? They're all talking about the time they've been in business, like who they are and what they do and blah, blah. And it's all about them, the
yeah,
builder. Guess what? No one cares. Okay. I
yeah,
go, can we talk about the customer's issues? Okay. Who
yeah,
you serving? And they're all the same. This is family on this and this. And he's got all
yeah,
that. I said, but we're doing a whole new direction. They go, we're going to talk to from the customer's perspective. What are their pain points? What does it look like? How do we create all this? I was like, completely flipped it. I mean, all the websites were
yeah,
beautiful, because they're
yeah,
all building multi-million-dollar homes, but it's the message. It's
yeah.
the
100%.
message that's coming out when they hit. It's like that's what makes the difference. And I wonder when if these guys come to you, right, build this website, do you have to kind of take them through an exercise sometime on actually what does make them different? Because I think a lot of
Yeah,
times they get
definitely.
they don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Well, so it's just letting them open up and discuss. As I said before, discuss their frustrations, because and we don't talk in a negative way through the website,
Right.
but it quickly highlights the flip side. Well, what is the flip side of what their frustrations are in the industry? And you're right, you've got to talk to your end client and customer, and the clean and simple, sophisticated looking designs are the best. People think they're simple to create, not necessarily.
No.
A lot of work goes into making them simple. So, that's the way to do it. But what you did was the exact perfect thing to do, to benchmark against the very best in your space from a couple of standpoints, from the design, the look and the feel, because the leaders have probably invested a lot to get where they've got, but also the search engine optimizations. So what are some of the keywords that they might be using and what's relevant for a client as well? And it also just going through that process quickly highlights what they aren't talking about, which might be important as well. So benchmarking is a really important thing. Things change fast online on websites. So
Yeah.
even if your website was a couple of years ago, it's probably already becoming a little bit stale, and things
Right.
have evolved, and they'll continue to evolve really fast with the
Yeah.
tech
Yeah.
as changing.
I think when you're talking to them and they're a lot of these guys, what I notice too in all their marketing, not just websites or anything else, is a lot of them get caught in industry speak. So
Yeah,
they're talking like a plumber, like an HVAC guy, and they're throwing out these terms and
yeah,
these things that, and
yeah,
they're B2C. Okay, they're like
yeah,
the consumer. Like I don't care what angle this is at, how many BTU. I want to
yeah.
know like how does this benefit me and that kind of thing. So a lot of guys, even on their lettering on their trucks and things like that, I'm like, you're you're not speaking to your clients. You're
Yeah,
speaking to other trade guys. Okay.
yeah,
Like you
yeah. And
understand
that's
they're not calling you for work. Okay. Like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
serving the residential community. You have to speak in the residential way, right? You got to understand where
yeah,
they're coming from. They don't, it's cool, it. That's all good. And I hope you do because you're an expert. But from the marketing, it always gets twisted around like that because
yeah.
that's why they can't and you've probably found this too, Wes, is if you don't understand their problem, like you said, you got to understand the customer's pain points. So
Mm,
I did a thing years ago and it's called a reverse guarantee. Okay. So I
hmm.
figured out all the things that people hate. Like I have a roofing business, right?
Yeah.
I go, let's find all the things people hate about roofers.
Mm,
Everyone's looking for all the good stuff. I don't care about the good stuff. I want to know
yeah.
why what do they hate? So we found them,
Yeah.
right? All the reviews, looking at reviews. What's the
Right.
recurring theme, right? Then we took those
Yeah.
and saying, we guarantee total satisfaction and nonsense like that. I always started with,
Yeah.
we will never blah blah blah. Their biggest
Yeah.
complaints. We will never, in bold, we will never do this. We will never not communicate with you on a daily basis. We will never,
Yeah.
so all of a sudden that's a pattern interrupt. And they go, oh,
Yeah.
but we're all saying, I understand your pain, I understand your pain, I understand your pain. Because if anyone's had any construction done, they all have a horror story. Every
Yeah.
last
Ah,
everyone,
yeah. For sure.
so you start to realize like, okay, I need to really flip the thinking and you get
Yeah.
into your customer's head. And that's where you can
Yeah.
start really getting some traction.
Yeah. 100%. So to build the trust and um, mitigate some of the potential perceived issues in the industry, that's a fantastic way you're doing it. The other thing too, I would say is the really simple call to action. So we just took on a demolition client, pulling down buildings, um, but there was no real quick way of making a inquiry. I mean, you could phone, that was one thing, but and they had a super long contact form to request a quote because they wanted all the specifications, but we just launched a really simple call to action form on their homepage in the hero section, so right at the top, and just launched it, and they started getting leads right away. Just the simplicity of being able so firstly, as you say, to get the message right, but make it super simple for people to engage at that baby first step.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I put it this way, Wes. Don't make your customers work. Okay.
yeah,
I
love
mean, what have you thought of
it.
that? You're making them run through all these hoops. Like, who are you?
Yeah,
They're the customer. You're going to make them do all that. That comes later. Like you need to
yeah,
get in from. But I mean, I always tell them, why are you making them work so much? This should
yeah,
be easy for them. Like, doesn't that, have you thought about that? And
yeah,
it's simple. Like, matter of fact, this one client I was talking about to come home builder, we just have email and phone number, no
yeah,
contact form, none of that
yeah,
stuff because they watch the videos. Again, these are multi-million-dollar homes. Okay. They're not going
yeah,
to send a contact form.
yeah,
They'll call
yeah.
you,
That's
they'll
right.
email you, and that's it. That's it. That's it.
That,
Keep it
yeah,
simple. Not going to do all this name, email, and a little star, a little asterisk by it. You got to have this, and you missed your
yeah,
phone number, and like, don't do that to people. Because if they
Yeah.
go through their stuff, and these videos are amazing, and it's just like they'll call or they'll email. It's
Yeah.
enough. They'll do it. And
Yeah.
it's a hot lead. When they call or email, you
100%.
got a hot lead, right? So it's really it's the conversion method, like you're saying, the call to action, that
Yeah.
CTA, it's got to be there. It's got to be there a lot, right? You
Yeah.
got to see it. It's got to be really simple. Um,
Yeah.
and that's the general theme for
Yeah.
anything. If you want to
Yeah.
give them something for their name and email, here's my 31-page ebook. That's what I do. Build value, build profit. You can get that. Just name an email, and you can have this 31-page thing. As a short version of my book, whatever. And people do that because they're exchanging. But if they're just giving you
Yeah.
like their name and email, and they're getting nothing except spam, okay, that's what they're expecting, right? So we got to really kind of flip the thinking on this, right?
100%. And so you really, it's quite true. So the sooner you can, particularly for a custom builder who's doing high-end projects, you want to get the people off the digital platforms and into a human experience where
Yep.
the best salespeople can talk to these people. The more you can humanize your brand, I believe, the more you can humanize your business and make those personal connections, the better in this day and age with AI. And as I said before, and people are just expecting to get spam. So if they're filling in a contact form, there's reluctance because what does this mean? Where's my email going? Um, but if they're ready to make a closer to making a transaction, they will legitimately call or email. So then they can say whatever they want to say, and it's quick and simple because I know how email works.
Right.
And it's a smart approach to do that with the demolition guys as well. What we found going through the process is the partial demolitions were a great part of their business, and because not all the demolition companies like to do that because it's complicated, like you're knocking down part of a
Right.
building which is has complications, but obviously
Great
it's a
niche.
bigger, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a niche, and it's a bigger job too because it's more involved. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just get the guys in to smash everything apart. You got to be a
Right.
little bit careful. So more profitable, it's better niched, and yeah, better conversions because there's less people doing it as well. So these sorts of things, little wins that we have when we're discussing projects with clients are really important.
Yeah, I really like that. What I was talking to a HVAC guy. So I told him, I go, well, what's your big profit machine? What do you make the most money on? They go, well, furnaces. I go, okay. So I have a picture. I obviously I can't pull it up, but I'm behind this box truck with a big roll up door on the back, and there's a
Yeah,
furnace on it. Okay, there's a picture of a furnace, and then there's as low as $99 a month. I'm
yeah,
like, I took a picture. I go, that's genius.
yeah,
Okay, this is what they do. Is there's nothing. Then there's a contact, and you can get it from the side, whatever. That's it. I go, that's what you do. This is smart marketing. Okay, because it's a
yeah,
furnace that's probably 5,000, 6, 7, 8, 10, as low as 99. You get payments. It says it all. You need that
yeah,
furnace. Look, it can be as low as $99 a month. I'm gonna call this guy.
yeah,
That's a call to action, right?
yeah,
Going everywhere they go, and people sitting in traffic behind them. Looking at it, it's beautiful.
yeah. And the other thing too to consider for clients when they're looking at focusing on their best service offering, oftentimes it's the one that brings in the new client and the new business, but there's other services that come off the back of that, so that maybe it's the services or maintenance of those
Yep.
types of things. So it's not that you're only selling that one thing all of a
That's right.
sudden. You can still
It's
offer everything else, but it brings them to the door.
yep.
It gets them engaged with you as the best in that one thing. So
Yeah, it's
it
the
comes
icebreaker.
easier.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
and
icebreaker.
because the one of my pet peeves is you'll drive by a van or something that's got the lettering in it. It says specializing in, and there's like 12 things. Okay, I'm going, really? You're a specialist in 12 things? I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like, you can't be. Okay, you totally
yeah,
invalidate everything. You're jack
yeah,
of all trades, master of nothing, specializing in all these things. And I'm like, pick the
yeah,
one. There's another one. There was a guy, he's just retired, but huge white van on the side, and his last name's Bell. Okay. And it just says
yeah.
Bell Drywall and the phone number.
Okay.
Big, huge, the
Yeah,
whole side of the thing, right? white van, dark blue, really cool blue. And that's it. I go, there's a guy. When you want drywall done, you know exactly what to get. And you know what, Wes, if you
Yeah.
talk to him, because I did, because I wanted him on my podcast, he only does drywall. He doesn't do the installation behind it. Not doing
Yeah.
that. He is an artist. He's a
Mm,
drywall guy, can do anything anyway, but that's all he does. You talk about
yeah.
niche. And he built this for over
Yeah.
30 years, did that. But man, I came by seeing the truck. I'm like, took a picture of that because I'm always doing that. And then I called him. I'm like, he goes, now I'm retired. I'm down in Florida. I'm done. So he just got talking about it. Well, I just want to tell you, man, I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. The way
Yeah.
he knits that business, because that's a guy who had the courage
Yeah.
to understand. I focus on this. This is what I'm great at, this thing, and that's what I do. Now he didn't have spin-offs and do this and this.
Mhm.
But he made a business and did it for 30 some years.
Well, and it opens up another level of opportunity. So all of a sudden you can collaborate with other trades as well. So he doesn't do the insulation, but someone else he can collaborate with does. And so he's referring business to them and vice versa. And
Right.
you can create your own network. And obviously the custom builders who manage the whole project, they're bringing in various, so that's the B2B service offering. So
Right.
you're not treading on everyone's toes. If you do everything, well, then if you all of a sudden you're not getting the referral from the insulation guy because there's potential conflict. Even if you wouldn't steal his business, but it just creates less friction again with the other trades that you can work alongside as well.
Yeah, especially because it will, people they'll get a little greedy. I can do that
Yeah,
too, and I can do this, and they do that. And you're like, well, you're a subcontractor for roofing. I'll use that example, right? So
yeah,
you do those.
yeah,
Well, that means I get you the work. Other contractor gets you the work, right? We're your marketing arm, right? I'm the
yeah,
contractor. I'm out selling replacements and everything else. I call you up and you got a price, and we do it. You don't have to market
yeah,
anything. You get a phone call from me or other kind of, you're working. It's great because marketing
yeah,
is a pain. Okay,
yeah,
it's difficult. There's a lot of cost to it, everything else, and that's why you're a sub. But all of a sudden, they start getting their own work and going
yeah,
in, and they know this. When they did the roof in this house, they took the referral from the homeowner and went and did their friend's house. When I'm
yeah,
the GC, like, it doesn't work that way. Okay, that's my roof. That, you work for me, and so it can get dicey, and it
yeah.
happens, right? So, but it's a mistake on their part because then no one's giving them business. Now they have to be the marketer. Now they have a whole. They're like, and they can't make it because they don't
Yeah,
realize what that actually costs.
yeah.
And the whole pack. They're installers. They're not
Mm,
business. They're not even. I'm going to air quote
mm.
business people. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
get it. So it's a dicey move.
yeah. And I love what you said earlier about being recession proof. So, and I don't know your part of the world, but for us, we had a really big boom time. So everyone had more than enough work and
Yep.
just turning work away. Things getting tighter now. The cost of living here is pretty tight. I think it is for most of the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Oh,
less money flowing around. All of a sudden, there is the potential for people to be, as you say, be a bit greedy and steal work because there's a necessity for people to make an income. So really to build yourself strong in the great times, knowing that there's cyclical nature of the world and income and where we stand. So build solid foundations, and you can't go wrong. You get the referral base, the consistent. If you've got clients, regular repeat clients, that's the best customers. That's the best thing you can do for the long term to get through those lean times in the
yeah.
recessions and so on.
Yeah, I think it's really important because they always come. I've been in business
Yeah,
over 35 years. I've been through multiples. I lost everything in 08, 09. Had to start over. Okay. I've been the
yeah,
ups and downs. I've done all that stuff to think and when it's really good until it's not.
yeah,
And then it tends to fall off a cliff pretty quick.
yeah,
I mean, I lost $500,000 in one day in 08,
yeah.
and then it
Wow.
just kept going. So it's like, I'm like, I could tell you all kinds of stories, but I think, I think one thing you can do when you in your situation with contractor niche is really because when they try to differentiate themselves, do you find that it's the local push? Like we're here, we're in the community. That's one thing they can really big because there's some big operations that are swooping
Yeah.
in and trying to take everything. So these
Yeah.
guys have to combat against that, right?
Well, that's right. So for the contractors, it's founder led. So it's the guy who started the business is still the face of the business. So it's in those circumstances, and when it's a couple that run it, so maybe oftentimes it's the man who does the actual trade, and then the wife it might be involved in the admin type of things,
Mhm.
but she might be client customer facing as well. So I think it's a really a powerful thing to have for a local business to have the happy couple photograph. So they're the people you're talking with and you're building that relationship. So even though it's just on the website, by the time they make that call, they've got a picture of the person in their mind, and when they meet, they feel like they already know them to a degree. So they're starting to build that know, like, and trust factor. And particularly for a local business, you might be seen around the town as well, and build your reputation. So obviously, a strong and solid reputation is critical, but to get your personal brand out there as much as you can as well. But I don't know about in your part of the world, but Australians can be a little bit reluctant to push themselves forward in the photographs of themselves. Just they're not so comfortable, but it's really really important if they're willing and able to have photos of themselves. Maybe it's a team profile or just the founders or whatever it is, because all those people that are connected to that community.
Here's a tip. If you have people who are reluctant, I just thought of this. If you want to get the best pictures, you just tell them, I get it, you don't want to be in it. You hire a pro, they'll follow you around and take shots. Because
Yeah,
you'll look at those, go, yeah, I'll publish this. I look good. You know, it's
yeah,
like we don't take good pictures
yeah,
of ourselves. Okay. The world's inundated with bad selfies. Okay. So
yeah,
like I'm just saying, like when you get a pro, whether it's shooting video or doing that, like that's an investment that'll pay you in spades because they'll
yeah.
make you look. I have a headshot, right? So I got one headshot and
Mm,
I kind of goes on my books and whatever. This young guy, great, really good, video and we were in Colorado in Vail at the Ritz, right, doing this big seminar thing, whatever. And like he just took a headshot of me. We're kind of by this bridge underneath the bridge. That was, I don't know, a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago. That thing is on everything. I'm like, dude, this
mm,
is the best picture that's ever been taken of me in 60 years. Okay, like this, and I will use it now until I'm 80. Okay, I'm gonna get some time out of this. And he just has the eye, man, head perfect. I'm like, and it speaks. That picture speaks. So I really
yeah,
encourage people, don't like. Now my daughter's really good at photography, and when my first book came out, she did that really cool picture because she's really good.
yeah,
But like, don't
mm,
try to just, hey, honey, take a picture of me with the phone, and that'll be my headshot, and I'm standing against the curtains, and you know what I mean? It's like make the
yeah,
investment because you'll be really happy, and people will perceive you in that way. That picture
yeah.
that's the proverbial thousand words, right? One picture.
100%.
So it's
Yeah,
just to help them encourage to do it because if they can put a face to your business, it changes everything. If you're
yeah, and
just
it's a
looking at trucks and get working and I don't know whatever, but I'm like that face on the local thing, like you're saying, is
mm.
really really critical.
And it's a distinct advantage for a smaller business to be, you're dealing with the owners of the business. So if it's a family business, the couple potentially, that's a distinct advantage because if you're dealing with the owner, they really, really care about the outcome and because it's their brand, it's their reputation at stake. Where if you're dealing with a larger company, you haven't got that advantage because they're employees and they might be here this year, but they might move on to the
Right.
competitor the following year. So I think you play to your strengths in these circumstances. We've got some clients that are massive international brands, more for the building materials space.
Mhm.
So related, they haven't got that advantage. They
Right.
might feature their directors, but the director doesn't really deal with the end customer. So they haven't got that strong relationship building factor at play.
Yeah, it's very different because of course they're usually B2B. also, so I love it. I just think you have to, no matter what you're doing in your business, you've really got to understand, like, you've got to define those strengths, that
Yeah.
differentiation, the strengths of what you have, the connection. I mean, if you're working in a 50 square mile radius, if that much, like, you got to own it. You
Yeah.
got to own that. You got to dominate that. And I'm telling you, the
Yeah.
pictures and who you are, that dominates. People,
Yeah.
the companies that do it, and you do it even local, is like, you'll see it. Husband, wife, their 5 kids, by the
Yeah.
van. So what people love that. Just saying, it's
Yeah.
like they're real people. They've
And the
got
other
kids.
thing
They're in the
too,
community.
yeah, the other thing too, the advantage of having the wife or partner on there as well, particularly with like the custom build home. So oftentimes it's the wife who makes the bigger decision on these things. So and they naturally will relate better to another lady as well. So as soon as they see it's not just all blokes, because that's often the case. It's just the nature of some of these industries. Bricklayers, for example, work with one bricklaying company. They haven't got a single woman employed in the company. Now that's not because they're deliberately avoiding it. They're not, but there's just no one wanting to lay bricks in their space. So when you have got that female touch that you can bring authentically, you don't want to just fake
Right.
someone in there as if Um, it's someone that the ladies will relate better to. So it's a big plus in the trade space.
Yeah, it's just like custom home building. I mean, the women's making all the choices.
Yeah,
The tile, the
100%.
the fixtures, the light. I mean, the guy's writing the check. Let's be real. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just like, whatever you want, honey. Just like,
Yes.
well, yeah, I'll come take a look. Yeah, it looks good to me, as long as it's not something absurd, but just share me how much. Just tell me how much so I can,
Yeah.
so I can know that. And that's okay. That's okay.
That's
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 how
often
you
the
actually
way.
get a nice house, but not make
Yeah.
it like, dude, I'd have like a small fridge and I don't know, one bathroom or something. I don't know what it was
Yeah.
in a bed. I don't in my custom home, but
Yeah.
you put the ladies touch on it. It's a magnificent place.
Yeah.
It's good and you're happy to pay for it. And then you get to live in it and it's all good. So you're right. Really getting that balance from a business
Mhm.
perspective. Like I said, when you see the family, the kids, it's cool. I've watched kids
Yeah.
grow up in businesses. I've seen the advertising when they're little, they're 3, 4, 5 years old. 10 years later, you got teenagers, they're driving the trucks. You're like,
Yeah.
you followed the journey. You grew up with that plumbing family. It's really, if
Yeah.
you think about it, it's a journey because marketing's a lifetime commitment.
Yeah.
It's not one and done, right? I mean, marketing is like, as long as you own a business, you got to be marketing. It never ends.
Yeah.
So think about that. They like grow up with a family. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And to get that messaging, obviously I'm talking about websites a lot because that's what we
Right.
do. But across social media as well, all these principles can apply with the images you choose to use. They don't need to necessarily, it depends on the nature of the business, but they don't necessarily need to be super professional shots
Mm-hmm.
all the time that you're sharing on Instagram, for
Yep.
example. It just shows, people in the field doing the thing, happy workers, maybe their brands on their uniforms, those sorts of things. But people can get a sense of what they're up to and communicate some of their brand message that way as well. Because people are often just scrolling through all various forms of social media these days. So you've got to be where the customers are at.
Yeah. And I think the not professional shots are powerful. People actually like, look, like, what is that? It's not
Yeah.
this polished, perfect lid. I mean, there's a place for both, right? Sometimes you just
Mm,
need to look at this, we did whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally with you. I am full transparency. Don't ever ask me to do that for you because I don't do any of that stuff. I'm the worst. Okay. I'm the worst at that, like posting and pictures and all that stuff. I'm not the right guy for that. You hire out,
Yeah.
never call me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I brought my son on board to do our social media publishing, which has been great. He was doing it by himself as his own small side hustle. But I saw his work and I thought I'll bring him on board one day a week to do ours, and it's been great. Like these sorts of things, once you set up the key foundations of what you want to communicate, you can delegate those things pretty easy. So
Yeah. Yeah, but that's an important aspect to all of this. I think when you think about marketing, let's dial in and we'll kind of get right back into what you're doing here, just from the website standpoint. Okay. So, and I like one point you made, like you also have to have a plan to refresh that website. So
Mm.
in your mind, Wes, what's kind of put a time cycle on that? Every 6 months, every year, every 18 months? Are you updating things, monthly, every two, like what's your kind of ideal scenario for a high converting, um,
Yeah.
appealing website?
Yeah, so the ideal clients are on with us monthly, more so for publishing fresh, unique content regularly to their website. So we need to partner with them in a solid way, so we know what they're up to, and we can talk about case studies and examples and so on. So we get their foundational voice documentation done really well, and we understand their uniqueness in the marketplace. So then we can publish and have lots of different touch points about various services and scenarios and things people might be searching for or discussing on their chat GPT, for example. So it
Right.
gives you the maximum amount of potential to show up for whatever it is you want to show up for in Google or anywhere really, search everywhere optimization. So they're the ideal clients for us that monthly come alongside and do that. And sometimes there's design tinkering and refinement as they progress as well. So that's one level, but there are clients who build a site and that's kind of it
Yeah.
until they're ready for a new one. And that's
Site
fine.
site abandonment. We call it site abandonment. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got one. I got to go now. Check back in 3 years. There it
Yeah, that's
is.
right. Yeah, 2 or 3 years, and they'll typically come back within. They'll grow over the course of time, levels of dissatisfaction with the website because the business model changes or just tech changes fast. So it's about stay. We've got maintenance clients as well. So when we just jump in and do software upgrades, keep it performing and fast loading and all those kinds of
Right.
things, little tinkering things as well. So but it's really up to the client how at what degree they want us to continue to support them through that process. So, but it is interesting. You see people with the website even a few years old, and they're almost certainly frustrated with something in the site because it's
Yeah.
things have
Well,
changed.
I for me as a guy who works with businesses all the time and stuff too, you look at like this is it's just one of the, it's the bigger marketing arm. Everyone's got
Mm,
to have one or you don't exist. Like let's just
yeah,
start there with the basics, right? No website, no business. Pretty
that's right.
much,
Well,
right? I mean, I don't know how easier to say it.
yeah. Well, there's a bit of a push for people suggesting maybe one day websites won't be needed because well, you search on Google and the answer if you're searching for to fix your whatever, fix some issue or whatever the case may be, researching. The answer's there in Google, so you don't have to visit the website. A lot of people are getting less traffic to their website because there's less need from a research standpoint. But it is your digital shop front. So if anyone wants to make a transaction, they're either going to go to your physical shop front if you've got one, and most of the clients don't because they're in their trucks. They haven't got a shop.
Mhm.
So the digital shopfront is where people need to go and just validate who you are. Make sure, yep, you're the right client, business. They'll come on as a customer and make an engagement that way. So
Well, I,
websites will always be a key, I think.
yeah, I think as the AI agents are developed now, pretty soon they're
Yeah,
going to be doing the searching.
yeah,
Okay, you're going to say, "Hey, find me a plumber, a local plumber. I got a
mm,
toilet that's backing up. My wife just called whatever," and it's going to do it. Okay, like it's
yeah,
going to do the searching for you. It's way beyond Alexa or whatever they
yeah,
use. They don't use any of those, but so it still has to search and find what you'd
yeah.
want. It's going to know you. It's going to understand what you're looking for. So you still have to have the presence, right? It's
Mm,
got, and the more places you are, the more apt that's going to find you in a sense, right? And like, so we have to
true.
be thinking forward that way as well, because everyone's going to have their own AI agent as a personal assistant. That's coming
That's
really
yeah.
fast.
And
Okay.
yeah, what you publish in your website is what fuels and educates. It's like it's like training the AIs about your business
That's it.
because you got to pull that information from somewhere. So it should be your website and anywhere else you can publish info.
Yeah, like you
You're
said, like
spot
you're
on.
making content, you're producing this, you're getting the video out there, maybe you're on the different socials. Like that's a critical element now more than ever. People think that's like they always get this wrong. Well, that's going to take and do it. Well, you don't know how it works. Okay, you got to
Mm,
understand how it actually works. So you actually need to increase your presence so you're found more quickly, more authoritative, so that you're high on the ranking list, just like the proverbial page rank, right? You want to
mm,
be in the top three, and that it's going to be it's just a transfer of the search. That's
mm.
all it is. That's how I think about it. Like you really have to think like,
Yeah.
well, no, we need to like increase the footprint.
Mm.
Okay, we need to increase the footprint. So these things don't go there. And then I get the first look because people, especially in the beginning, Wes, they're like, well, AI told me I'll just do it.
Yeah.
It's my buddy.
I had
It's my
a
friend.
yeah the yeah the just probably 2 3 weeks ago now I had a client ring. He left a message to say I'll call back. I want to inform you about the outcome from the search engine optimization we did. We're calling it search everywhere optimization. And so I called him back the following day. It was late in the afternoon. So thinking, what's he going to say? And he said, well, thank you so much for the service. It was just a tiny service we did for him, but he got found for what he provides as they were looking for the best in Australia. So he won the client he won is a plumbing company that he will support $140,000 contract. And, you know, for a tiny investment that we made, it was just wrapped to show up in the chat GPT search when someone was searching for the very best in Australia.
Right?
They were quite a distance apart, but because they're really specific in wanting the best in Australia, he showed up and away they went. So,
That's what I'm talking about. Right. We have to understand where people you have to stay in front of people's ability to search
yeah,
and get stuff. I do a lot in chat. You know, I've learned a lot. I spend endless hours in this stuff and learn how to operate and everything else. But where all this is going on a daily basis.
yeah,
This will be it's not a year. It's I know what it's going to be in a year. I don't actually. That'd be a lie. Like I can't even think out 6 months because I watch it as I work in it daily change and improve. I
yeah,
mean, because it's learning, right? It has the
yeah.
capability of learning. We've
Just
created an ability for this to have intelligence, the ability to learn. That's really unique. You know,
yeah.
a guy I had a number of AI guys on my show, but one of them says, "Well, you had the steam engine, you know, the train that we created steam, and the steam created power. Okay, well now we have the tools to create intelligence."
Mm,
He's like, so it's, and where does that go? Right. So you start to understand like it's so fast. That's why I kind of just see the future and go, okay, I understand what this is doing now. Let's extrapolate out. Oh my gosh. Like we got to get
mm,
out in front of this now. Like you
mm.
don't have time to wait until everybody's doing it. Like just a website, right? You could get a Wix and do a free website for $100 or whatever, and it's horrible. I don't recommend it ever. Okay, it's not worth your time to invest in that stuff. And maybe that's just me, but always hire for websites. Never do them by yourself. And this is not just a plug for Wes. This is for your own sanity. Okay, this is to keep you from losing your mind and hating yourself for a long
Yeah.
time. Okay, because they're terrible. They're all just terrible, and I'm speaking from multiple attempts because I'm too dumb to stop after the first failure. So I've done a bunch of stuff. So now it's everybody else does it, not me. So that's my cautionary tale. Okay, but you see what
Yeah,
I'm
well,
saying?
yeah, well, the thing with that too, the more you can free up your time to focus on the things that only you can do as the founder, typically,
Yeah.
as the business leader, and they're usually your more business development type, relationship building, those sorts of things. So you want to free up yourself. Eventually, you might free yourself up from the tools, but you definitely want to free yourself up from external things that it's not really your expertise. So building a website or things that publishing to social media, whatever it is, those things that are easily delegated to someone who is going to do it better anyway. It's worth the investment most of the time. So
Well, here's the question I tell people to ask yourself: is there really no one who can do this better than me?
Yeah.
That's the only question you got to ask, because the answer is going to be the same every time. Yes, there's
Yeah.
lots of people that can do this better than me, and just take that off your plate, because they'll tell you it takes an hour, and it's your first time doing it, it's 5, and
Yeah.
then probably the weekend. Okay, while you tweak with this, so it's just never anything new. I always tell people we start at the level of awful. Okay, anything
Yeah.
new you want to do, you're going to start at awful. So let me ask you, what kind of time investment awful is worth to you? Okay, so none. I'll just tell you. I'll cut to the chase. But so it is. I truly mean that plug. Like, don't try to build your own website. I've been down the road doing it. I mean, I get if you're this bare bones bootstrap, startup, and you're trying to get this thing going. I get it, but you need to prioritize when that gets flipped from the DIY to the professional.
Yeah.
Because you can see the difference, and it takes like one view of a self-done website. there's a huge difference.
Yeah. And you realistically you only need to win maybe a job or two more to pay,
Yeah. It's
pay
an
for everything.
investment. It's an
Yes.
investment. Just like your guy with the big contract, because he's the best.
Yeah.
Like that, that's an investment.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, boom, he got, and he's happiest man on the planet right now. Right. So
Yeah.
like that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to have the faith and the courage to make these investments, small or large, to move your business forward, to remain competitive. Because
Yeah.
that's what it really
It's,
comes down to.
yeah. And buying back your own time really. So I mean, I see this a lot just with new people starting out, and maybe they do need to really do as much as they can themselves because they've just got no money and they've just got to start where you're at. But they're burning the midnight hours and doing bookkeeping and stuff during the night. It's going to put strain on your personal life as well, your family. Buy back that time as soon as you can, so you can do things that matter. In your personal life as well.
Yeah, I always tell people, Wes, I go, there's standard of living and there's quality of living.
Mm,
Standard of living is I make some more money and I buy more things. Quality of living is I make more money and I buy my time back. That's
yeah,
quality of living. Okay, I want to be on that side. Okay, I want to
yeah,
have the time to do the things I do. I don't need another boat. Okay, I don't need another, whatever, four-wheel. I don't need things. I need time. I want to buy
yeah,
back my time so I can enjoy that. So, oh,
yeah. No,
Wes, this has been awesome. What a conversation,
yeah,
man. I really
I've loved
appreciate
it.
it. Yeah, I inside into websites and just the power of them isn't I don't think it's become too um this is not a dig. It's like ordinary now. It's like assumed. People just have this, like, it's the website. So I think it's been watered down. Maybe that's a better term. In people's minds, they don't understand the difference from a performance standpoint. You know, Looking at the outside of a car, it's a car. Until you lift a hood, you don't know what's really underneath there. You don't know what the car can do until, you're stepping on the gas, right? And go slow, fast, whatever. So I think websites are in that category now. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got a car. Okay.
Mm,
But most of them, you wouldn't want that car. Okay. So there's certain cars
yeah,
you want, right? I'm a more of a
yeah,
high performance guy, right? So, but sometimes people don't know that there's a difference.
mm,
I think that's why a lot of people will attempt, like me, to do their own website.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
We all want to drive a Ferrari, but some of us have got, I don't know, what's a poor, I don't know, Hyundai or something. I don't know what
anything
cars you
less than
got.
a Ferrari,
Yeah,
anything less than a
yeah, that's
Ferrari.
right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you're exactly right. You're driving the Volkswagen, right? You got the
yeah,
Volkswagen, you want the Ferrari taste. So, but yeah,
yeah.
it's just that. So I just like talking about this and kind of getting people refocused on this, because I think it's an overlooked marketing aspect. They're not revving up the power in it. They're not utilizing it to really, and like just that AI conversation we just had, like you better pay attention,
Mm,
because that is going to smoke you. It's going to
mm,
smoke you, and you're going to go, "What happened?" Now no
mm.
one calls me. No one does this. I get nothing from this. And you're going to say it doesn't work. Like, we told you. Me and Wes, we told you a long time
Yeah.
ago. Okay. So
You
you've
heard it
been
here
warned.
first.
You have been warned. I'm just telling you. So, any parting thoughts for everyone, Wes?
No, just really enjoyed the conversation, Richard. Fantastic podcast, and yeah, thanks so much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for bringing value to everybody. It's been a really great conversation. And for everyone else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Sharpen the Spear podcast. If you're a manufacturing executive and you're serious about unlocking hidden profit, improving frontline leadership, and taking control of your floor, go to grit2lead.com right now. Run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator and discover your biggest opportunities are hiding. Don't leave millions on the table. Sharpen your spear, lead from the front, and win the floor. Until next time, stay sharp.